If you're a Linux user, you might be familiar with some of the uber elite lingo such as ricing, dot files, tiling window manager, RTFM or read the manual, possibly followed by
I use Arch, by the way.
and it might be intimidating trying to get your setup to look like some hacker screen in a Hollywood film. In comes Linux. Linux is a relatively new distribution. It comes with 4 different window managers, minimally configured, and includes a few extras to make it more user-friendly getting started with your first ricing setup. Ricing refers to customizing your desktop, usually Linux, but it could be any Unix-based OS, and you can find examples of this on the r/unixporn subreddit, where users share their highly personalized Linux desktops. Typically, these desktops use tiling window managers rather than the traditional GNOME or KDE desktops. Examples include Awesome, i3, BSPWM, and Xmonad, all 4 of which are available with Linux. Tiling window manager configuration is traditionally done with the use of config files referred to as dot files. Dot files are written with various scripting and programming languages depending on the window manager. This can often be intimidating with a high learning curve for new users, and Linux provides a more usable starting point to jump right in using Arch Linux, essentially starting you off with some sane defaults and removing the need to install and configure Arch Linux yourself. Hello, and welcome back to DS Tech Media. I am your host, Jay, and today we are looking at Linux. And here we are at the website hashproject.ga, designed and developed for those users who love Linux and want to enter the wonderful world of window managers but are not encouraged to customize them due to laziness or lack of time. We include some default tools to make your life easier. And they have some screenshots here of tiling window managers. And the way a tiling window manager works is when you open a new window, the screen subdivides. It's very keyboard focused, but you still can use a mouse. In the intro, I showed you lots of different people's setups that are posted to the unixporn subreddit. And the appeal is that they look really cool, but also give you better productivity and improve your workflow. Down at the bottom of the page, you can find ISOs for all 4 versions. I'm going to be going with Awesome. The primary consideration is the language to configure your window manager setup. Awesome uses Lua, which I have a little bit of experience with. i3 uses plain text configuration. BSPWM says anything. I guess that means you can configure it with different languages. And Xmonad uses Haskell, which I know absolutely nothing about. So that is why I am going with Awesome as my window manager. Go ahead and run through the installation process here. And from here we get 2 options, live mode or install. I'm going to go ahead and do install. I'm going to go with entire disk because this is a VM. And I'm going to go with swap without hibernate because it gives me a little bit of extra storage, and this is a VM, so hibernating is not really an issue. And we're installing. This is already making everything a lot easier overall. So here we are up and running and installed. Full disclosure, this isn't going to be a tutorial. This is more of a demo and impression video of Hash Linux. I'm not going to be diving into the code and making changes. I might in the future. The only window manager that I've actually used in a daily basis is OpenBox and XFCE. I mostly work with audio, video, and 2D graphics, so it really doesn't make sense for me to use a tiling setup. It's not practical for the work I do. Of the 4 window managers available for Hash Linux, Awesome is probably not the easiest. i3 is probably the easiest. Awesome uses Lua. That's kind of why I went with it. Plus, I think that the setup is really nice with Awesome. And even though Hash gives you a fully working and configured window manager out of the box, you're going to have to dive into documentation and perhaps copy other people's dot files if you want to learn how to make it your own. With that said, let's get started. So here we are out of the box, and we've got this conky window set up here with keys to remember. So super plus enter opens the terminal. Super plus quit closes any window. Super D opens the applications menu, which is called Rofi, and basically it's custom configured for Hash. It even has their own teal colored icons. We can change the layout with Super Space. Super F full screens the window. Super S shows the key bindings, which here are all of the key bindings, and a lot more on that later. Super Control R reloads the window manager. Print screen is a screenshot. Super plus print screen is a focus screenshot, and alt print screen is a selective screenshot. Let's see, we got this selector box here. It's acting kind of funny. There we go. Control Alt L locks the screen, and Super plus X brings up the power off restart menu, power restart, lock, sleep, and log out. We've got a few custom terminal commands here. Upgrade is a full upgrade. INS followed by the package installs a package. REM followed by the package removes. Top here we have a pre-configured bar. Over here you got your calendar, and this is your tags manager. This is how you handle your workspaces as well as your layouts. I'll get into that a little later. Right click, settings. We got a power manager, network manager. We've got the Parcelite clipboard manager, and a lot of features here. It's pretty nice. There is a volume button here, and mouse wheeling over it brings it up and down, and clicking it makes it red and mutes. This would be our brightness manager for a laptop screen. This is our memory usage in percentage, our CPU usage in percentage, and this is a bar graph of our CPU usage. CPU temp would appear here. I guess it's not working because I'm in a VM. And this is our up and down or in and out traffic for our network. Let's open up Rofi. There's a lot of stuff for look and feel. We've got nitrogen for our wallpapers. And they have a pretty cool selection of assorted wallpapers to choose from. A lot of fantasy type stuff. Apparently some anime type stuff. Hash theme selector. This actually allows you to change the system-wide theme. I think it changes the terminal theme, your GTK theme, and your QT theme. This is night red, light orange, hash and cyan, and sweet purple. I think we're gonna go with the sweet purple. And everything's changed. The Conky's colors have changed. Rofi's colors and icons have changed. Ours changed. This has changed. So that's a system-wide theme change. They also give you look and feel, and it lets you change things more specifically, fonts, icon theme, color, etc. and so forth. This is all for your GTK stuff. Kvantum is for your Qt stuff, so it lets you change all of your Qt based toolkit appearances. So we've got those three: GTK, Qt, and then everything. And last but not least, we've got Yad Settings. Yad Settings allows you to create graphical interfaces based around bash scripts. They're GTK based interfaces, but they allow you to add some customization to any type of bash script that needs input and output. So you run a bash script and it asks you for, I don't know, resizing a photo. That'll come up in a dialog that you design with this editor. Also, you'll notice that this window is floating, whereas all the others are divided up. Now, if I hit Super and Tab, all of those will move. And we can divide them up in lots of ways. They also have gaps enabled by default with Control Alt equals sign or plus sign. That increases your gaps, and minus decreases your gaps. Now, moving up here, if we mouse over the tags menu, it'll cycle through our tags as workspaces. Additionally, we can right click over here and it will actually change how new windows are spawned and how they're laid out. And there's a tooltip that appears above this too, where you can normally read it, but for some reason changing the theme has made it just blacked out. So with a blank desktop, if we use our mouse wheel, you can see up here we are cycling through our tags. There's 9 of them. Let's go back to tag 1. So if we do Shift Super 1, we've now moved Firefox to the first tag. If we hover over this, you'll see at the top right corner there it says tile. Tile left, get a terminal open. Tile bottom, tile top, floating. Open something else real quick. Let's go ahead and install CMatrix. So we've got BSP, center work, speaking of which. So if we do a super print screen and it took a photo of that particular window, let's do a different one. Also, if we do Super Z, we have a drop down terminal here for running anything we want on the quick. We do Super Escape, we can toggle between tags very quickly. So yeah, I do Super Z again, and no matter where I'm at, that's a consistent drop down terminal. Let's go ahead and open Thunar, and here are the screenshots we took. And we have FEH as well as Ristretto to view images with. This is Ristretto. And for viewing video, we've got the MPV media player, which is, it's a command line video player. Alright, so I've set the tiling mode to spiral. Hold on. Turn this music off or down. And now you can see up in the top corner here, my CPU usage bar is actually showing something. And how the spiral layout works. So it's basically kind of a Mandelbrot of sorts. You know, you keep spiraling down. The terminal is Termite. and it is specifically designed for tiling window managers. It's entirely keyboard centric, and they've actually pre-customized it with these little glyph icons, and I believe it's got power level 9000 theming is what it's called. They include the Genie text editor. Well, technically it's more like a integrated development environment. Let's see, view. We need to be able to see hidden files. Now I'm going to show you how you get to the dot files for Awesome. You go to your home folder, .config, and to Awesome, and the main config file is always going to be rc.lua. They also include Vim, one of the two most popular command line based code editors. I personally prefer Genie though. Here we have our tag lists, and most of how Awesome is going to look is configured from here. So here are our actual tags, and I'm actually going to change those. I went ahead and got the little glyphs where the numbers are in the circle here. So I'm just going to comment out the ones that they have. I'm going to save. And we're going to, I guess, reload. So super control R, and now the tags up here, and they have the circle around the number instead of just the number. So that was one little edit that I managed to figure out pretty easily. So Lua is not that hard of a language to pick up. The thing about Awesome that makes it slightly difficult is that there's so many, I believe they refer to them as modules, and they're basically like identifiers for where you're sending different parts of the API to. Everything is awful dot something or lane dot layout dot cascade dot tile dot offset. It's a little bit convoluted. A lot of people think of it as an ugly language, but I feel like it's not overly difficult to pick up. MPV Media Player can also play music. Oh, another thing, if we use Super and W, we get the Awesome drop-down menu. So we get hotkeys, manual edit config, restart, quit, accessories, archive manager, the hash theme selector, Kvantum, Parcelite, Vim, Nitrogen, development, Genie. This is everything installed essentially. We've also got the Qt video for Linux to video camera and test utility, which is essentially for capturing and streaming any type of webcam or video camera. Removable drives, Yad Settings. Oh, CPU X. That's something I definitely want to show. So this is CPU X, and this basically shows you all of the information about your motherboard, your CPU, your graphics. It's just a nice little, I think, benchmarking, and yeah, you can benchmark with it. It's a benchmarking and hardware information tool. Pretty cool. You don't see it included a lot. Let's see, what else is there? We've got printer manager, printer settings. There's a icon link for HTOP. I'm not sure why they do that. I mean, I guess for people that want to get to HTOP quickly. Oh, also, I think it's pretty cool that they give you Neo Fetch out of the box, since that's pretty common among the Rising community. Oh yeah, we can minimize windows by clicking the tabs at the top. Super M maximizes a window. Super F full screens a window. So some other things you can do is minimize and maximize with M and N. So Super M maximizes, Super N minimizes. You can toggle the panel on and off with Super B. For whatever reason, they have a cheat sheet for Tmux here, even though Tmux isn't installed. If you're not familiar, Tmux is an advanced session manager for your terminal. You can split your terminal into different panes. You can have sessions, so you could run something on a terminal, detach from it, and come back to it later without ever worrying about interrupting anything. It's pretty common among power users, especially for people that are doing remote systems administration, things like that. I love how easy they've made it to install programs, so even stuff that's in the Arch user repository can be installed with the ins command. And I think that's pretty much all I had to show you. It's a fully working distro, and anything else we want, if we want GIMP, just type ins and then GIMP. But as you can see, it's very, very quick, very responsive. It's Arch Linux, so it's a pretty minimal installation. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to show you, was the install tab that brings up just about everything that you could possibly want to install, and it shows you in the right hand corner here, you've got which repository it's in, so core, name, nettools, version, description, architecture, URL, licenses, groups. The install tool is pretty cool. Using INS rather than using Yayo or whatever to search through the AUR. See, now we're in the extras repository. I guess it just goes in alphabetical order. Alternatively, if we go to remove tab, these are every package installed on our system currently, so 926 packages total. And additionally, typing the word upgrade and hitting yes is all it really takes to upgrade the entire system. If I wasn't focused on media production and so comfortable with the setup that I have using Ubuntu, but I could definitely see using Tiling Window Manager, and I do love customizing everything. I've always wanted to do a ricing setup, and this may be the way I go about it. Perhaps I'll be doing a video on it in the future. Well, that's what I got. Let me know what you thought. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't like it, let me know why. If you want to support me in the slightest way, the easiest way you can do is to share this content, leaving comments, leaving likes. It helps the algorithms on YouTube. Additionally, just subscribing to me on BitChute, Odyssey, Library, or you can find my videos on DTube, on the Hive blockchain, Steemit blockchain. If you follow me on Odyssey and Library, I get LBC tokens. Of course, you can donate Minds tokens to me. I may try to set up a Bitcoin, Ethereum wallet or something like that. I'm going to be doing more crypto content in the near future. Let me know what you think of tiling window managers. If you're interested, would you try and start with Hash Linux, or would you go a different route, just installing it yourself on Arch and getting started that way? I would love to hear what you think. As always, I thank you for watching DS Tech Media. Lots of content to come, and I will see you in the next one.